I've come to the conclusion we're educating ourselves right out of our minds. We can't catch up with all this technology. I want to join Grok, and I was put by AI on its site and mogul through it, and I can't make sense how to make it work. It's a college course. What do they expect from human beings? See, that's what's happening, is that computers are getting so far advanced and putting so much material out when they talk, all the facts and everything. A human mind can't comprehend it. Its attention span on the average is less than 15 minutes. And sometimes when you're being talked to, people just go off in a daydream if it's too wordy, too heady. And that's what the problem is. I'm trying to get Grok. It's supposed to be the sophisticated AI that Elon Musk bought Twitter, and now he's made Grok, and now you can take and join that and give it scenarios, and it will figure it out and word it right and all that to your liking, improve what mood you want to set, joyous or serious or professional or whatever. And I've got those concepts, but to get to the tree, there's all these vines, and you don't know which one to grab to swing to the tree you want. And when you grab one and start swinging, you find out it's not going to the tree you want. So now you're all screwed up, and you say, forget it, and go someplace else on the internet. And don't mess around with Grok. It's too complicated. That's what they should do with their system, is to learn how to make it so it's not complicated, especially for the elderly that sit around and play with phones and words and all that stuff. We need to improve the AI quantum physically, and then they'll be superior to man's mind, and then we have to worry about, will they try to control man's mind, subconsciously speaking. That's a possibility. So that's some of the observations I've made so far. I got up this morning, the same old thing. I want to do all this stuff and a lack of motivation to do it. And I hear this thing, go get a cup of coffee, Bill. I can't get up off the couch to go make a cup of coffee. That's how it's gotten. That's how depression, anxiety, day after day after day. People coming in, moving into your neighborhood, and screwing things all up. You lived here 45 years, and now they moved in the neighborhood telling you what to do with your yard and the way things look around your house. And they complain, they call the cops. They just moved in. Now I'm supposed to like them and all that stuff. I ignore them. I won't even talk to them. People across the street, they did it to me. Called the cops because my lights were bothering their dog's eyes, so they called the cops on me. And so then after that, they tried to talk to me, and I just ignored them like they didn't even exist. They moved out last weekend. They were there I don't know how many months, but, you get what you give. What you sow is what you reap. That's for sure. And they sold calling the cops on me because my lights were hurting their dog's eyes when it looked out the window. Can you imagine being nitpicky like that? Oh, man. I have a time, next door neighbors and all that. Now the town has come in. The town of Shenango has made its move because of all the complaints. And there must have been half a dozen people complaining about my front. They don't like my sanctuary out in front of the Blessed Mother and the Sacred Heart of Jesus and St. Francis. I have a statuary there, and all devoted to that. And they can't say anything about it because that's against my freedom of religion. So they hit other things. Oh, his grass is too high. That one plant there is way too high. Well, that one plant there they're talking about is burdocks, and I eat the root. So I let it grow. And now they're complaining because that burdocks bush grew there. On the other side of my fence, between my house and my fence, 8-foot fence, they stuck their head in and they saw my pergola that has been there for 30 years, but they just saw it because it looked like a structure, like I was building something, and I don't have a building permit. So now they issued me a summons to get a building permit for it. I don't need it. It's already built. All it's being used for right now is my tools on it because I'm building it. And when I get it done, all the plants are going to go in there. No screens, no walls. There'll be a shade roof on it. But it's all under 16 feet. And it's not a structure to live in. So... See, I get out of breath because I'm upset and I want to talk and I didn't take a deep enough breath, so you start hiccuping. You ever notice somebody like that and they're trying to talk and you go, because they're trying to get it out, man. It's frustrating. Oh, they lose their breath. Well, anyways, I look like crap. I got to get up, take a shower, and I've got long COVID, and I'm afraid of taking a shower because I got pneumonia. I got pneumonia from long COVID. And that's what I'm going through right now. I'm trying to do things around the house, and if I don't do them before 11 o'clock in the morning, it's 93 degrees out there. I'll get heat stroke at 76 outside working. So I have to come back in the house and air conditioning until the sun quits beating down so hard. Maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock. It starts getting better. The birds start coming out. The birds won't even feed. Well, some real hungry ones, they come. But the birds won't even feed. And they got babies now. I don't know if their babies are all grown up yet or not. It's only June. What is it, June 15th, somewhere around there? June 20th? 21st? I don't know what it is. And when you get old, you don't care what day it is. What day is it? You're surprised to know what day it is, too, when you get old. Oh, it's Sunday? Jeepers, I thought it was Friday. What happened? What happened to Saturday? That's what happens when you get old, man. You're an old codger. Well, that's what happens to some people, I guess. I'm lackadaisical. I'm kind of lethargic by nature because I'm apnea. And I have that other disease that's called, that goes along with apnea, narcolepsy. I don't get any sleep, no REM sleep at all. I don't have dreams. But this morning I had kind of like a dream. So it's coming back, but I don't get a dream, deep sleep, REM sleep. I don't get that. If I get real tired, I'll go into it. And then the bomb goes off. The hand grenade went off by my head in Vietnam when I was in a deep sleep. So now my deep sleep is associated with that hand grenade going off next to my head, less than a foot away. If I hadn't had my head up against the I-beam going down the ship, big wide I-beam, big wide one, 8 inches across or more, and it was a T, those I-beams, and it followed the whole ship's hull, So I'm laying up against it, but I had my pillow there, and I was sound asleep. I just worked a shift, and plus I had Rocket One for all that stress, putting the rockets out before they took off. They don't take off. They flop on the deck and start spinning around. And I got to put them out with a CO2 extinguisher. And that's what I had to go through. My heart was in my throat several times. And then if you get stuck in the launcher, you have to turn on the faucet. Each launcher has a faucet, a water faucet, to cool it down. Because what happens is those rockets going off 16 every 3 seconds, that chamber heats up, swells up, and then they have a little pause for a minute or two or before they do another series of 16s at some other village, and the launcher contracts because it was heated. It expands, then it contracts. So when it contracts, the rockets go up there. If one of the launchers contracts just a little bit too much, the rocket will get stuck in the launcher and not take off. Matter of fact, it will try to take off, but it goes to the top and then it plops and comes out and plops on the deck and starts spinning around. It's supposed to go 150 revolutions before it will explode. So here you are with heart in your throat with a CO2 trying to put out all the fires in this. And that laser coming out of laser flame, it's like a blowtorch. You push the trigger and you cut through steel with. That's coming out of them rockets because they go 6-7 miles. And when they don't take off and they flop on the deck and they start spinning around, you got to put them out. How would you like to be a firefighter that does that? I got a buddy, a friend of mine. He's not a buddy, but he goes to church and stuff where I go to church. He's a fireman. Bill, his name is. I'm not going to disclose his last name and all that. But I was a fireman when I was in the service. I was a fireman. Now, a fireman in the service is, that's what you got when you're on a boot camp. They say you're a fireman apprentice. All right, and that's what I was, a fireman apprentice out of boot camp. But they gave me a fireman's job. Broke me in really good, too. Because I was a fire watch. I had binoculars, and I looked on the shoreline, and I looked on the ship. I looked for fires and all that stuff. Not on the shoreline. I don't have to worry about them, but I can report on them, Oh, yeah, I saw what I saw, to the captain, because I'm a fire watch, I got binoculars. Nobody else on the ship has them. I can see what's happening. I saw this one family once. They put the VC post them out in front of their house and let their kids be lined up. There was 8 of them, biggest one to the smallest one. They were all crying, and the guy was waving a hanky or a pair of shorts or white on a stick, and he was going like this. Don't bomb us, don't bomb us, please don't bomb us. Because what happens is, you got all these families in there. They've got a farm, they've got chickens, they got a cow, might have some other animals, rabbits, or I don't know what they have. They just have a little farm. And so you come in and they got a garden growing, they got vegetables growing, and we come in there and we tell them, this is a military zone. You got to get out of here. Get out of here, or you're considered an enemy, and you'll be collateral damage when we bomb. Because when we bomb, it's going to be 16 rockets every 3 seconds hitting your village. And you better not be here, because if you are, you're going down with the weeds. Because that's the only way we could get the weeds. We had to get the wheat and the weeds. The wheat are the people, that live in the village, the innocent Vietnamese. Beautiful little people, too. They're small people, but they're beautiful people. And then they have I call them the ground rats. They live underground. They actually live underground in caves, because above ground it's 110, but below ground during the day it's 60 degrees. And they got everything all made underground. And what they do is they come out at night and they need food. So they go into the village and then they get carried away. They start raping and murdering because the husbands see them raping their wives, and they come after them. They got to kill the husband. And the kids, the children, and all that, whatever they do with them, oh my God. We're talking about demons that live underground. And the only way we can get them is to, when they hit, we had a radio uh, transmission from the area. We have spotters in those areas, and they call back our ship. Our ship goes to the location, posts, hones in on the village, and then sets up and starts loading rockets, 16 rockets on elevators and everything, going up into those tubes, and that's 16 rockets every 3 seconds. But we only used half of the ship. We only used 8 rockets every 16 seconds. Because we could have went full force, have all four launchers used. 2 in each launcher would be 8 on that side, then broadside them on the other side, another 8. That's 16 rockets. We could make them all go at once if we want to, too. But we broadsided with one half of the ship, 4 launchers with 2 rockets coming out of each launcher. So that's 8 rockets every 3 seconds. Still, that's 8 rockets every 3 seconds coming at you. And you're in a village. So all those people that were lined up, I was looking through my binoculars, and I could have swore I saw an arm. Somebody threw something out the window, or somebody did something out the window, because we were bombing this one house that was a mansion, a beautiful mansion on the cliffs of Saigon riverbanks. They had these cliffs, and on the cliffs they had these beautiful homes, man. They were big, gigantic homes built by millionaires or something, because it was so secluded, that area that we were in, the Saigon area, the Saigon Delta and everything. And then before you get there, they got these, the coastline has all these cliffs, and in the cliffs are all these beautiful homes. And we had to, because that's where the VC were. They had their headquarters in there. So we had to bomb them. So sometimes we wouldn't bomb them with our rockets. We hit them with our big 50-50, Kaboom! The whole ship goes like this, Kaboom! It rocks the ship, man. Great, big, huge rocket. And then we go and we hit. When we hit one, everybody takes off their hats, because we hit our target. Because you got to do it until you hone in just right. And then you can hit the target with these things, because you can see where you're shooting. So everybody would be there, and then we watch it, kaboom! And then we wait, and kaboom! And it'll be right to the side of the building. Oh, darn it, we missed. Okay, kaboom! And bam! And it hits, and everybody takes their hats off and go, yeah, we got him. How many we got, I don't know. There's a count after, and they give you a little slip telling you that it's 350. But you can't send it home. You can't send this memoir home. You have to keep it for your own personal use. You can't put it in a letter and send it home or anything like that. Tell anybody what we're doing. Killing people. Innocent people, too, along. Collateral damage. Guy don't want to leave his home. He's got chickens and a cow that he probably loves, and moves and gives him milk for his children. He's got 8 of them. How long as he has that cow? And then we come in here and say, well, this is the military zone. You got to get out of here or you're considered the enemy. And the guy looks, he says, where am I going to go with my 8 kids? So they stick it out. So what does a VC do? They come in, take over his house, hide behind it, put them out there as a shield, like they used to do in the Arab countries. They would attack, but they would have people on the front of their tanks and stuff like that, so you wouldn't shoot. You see innocent people tied to the front of the tank, and you wouldn't shoot the tank. See, human shields they call them. That's what the VC were doing here. They get those families that didn't take off. They didn't go with their whole family. 8 kids? Where are you going to go with 8 kids? You know, you got to get out of here. It's a military zone. If you're here, when we come, you're going to be considered the enemy. So get out of here. And they ain't going to leave. They got everything. You know, it's like somebody come up to your house telling you got to get out of here because China's coming and they're going to take over everything. And we got to take and fight. And if you're in the area, you'll be considered a Chinese sympathizer. Oh, I'm just tired. I haven't taken anything today. No medications, nothing. I haven't, not even a cup of coffee yet. And it's what? I don't know. 9 o'clock in the morning, somewhere's around here. I gotta get up, make a cup of coffee. I'm so tired. I don't know why. I got long COVID, see. I've had it for 570 some days. I got it on December the 8th, 2024. How long was that? No, I mean, we're halfway through 2025, December, so that's 6 months. 30 times 6, 180 days. No, wait, 30 times 6, come on now, 180 days. You know, why am I saying that, though? Oh, boy, see what I mean? I lose my train of thought right in the middle of what my thinking is. And I've been battling every day. It's frustrating as you all get down. This long COVID is treacherous on you. Killing me. It's actually killing me, man. I'm not the man I was before I got long COVID. Before I got COVID. I got COVID in 2023. November the 24th. And then it ran into the 25th. December. So November, December. So it must have been December of 2023. No, December of 2024. See what I mean? I can't even keep track. I'm losing track of time. And everybody's like, he ain't doing nothing around the house. Look at his weeds are growing. Call the cops or call the ordinance office. Have them summoned. Have them go out there and cut that grass. And I just sold my 2 trailers so their houses would be worth $100,000 more than what they're... Like, people moved... When I took the trailers off the street, their houses went up to like $60,000, $70,000 because they were like $50,000 homes. They went up $67,000, $80,000, $90,000 some of them. And they sold and they left. Well, time has gone by a little bit. You know what those houses are going for right now? A one that wouldn't sell on HUD for $30,000, $185,000. Because people in New York can't believe they can get out of New York for only $200,000 into a school district and a nice neighborhood with a dead-end street. And they're the last house on the street. You know, and so they had a bidding war. And that one house went for $185,000. Another bidding war. The house was a 2-story. A guy brought 7 kids up in it. Fairly new, you know. Fairly new in the 70s. It was built in the 60s, 70s. And house went in a bid more, $240,000. The guy, when he was alive, was asking me, because I was a broker, if he could possibly get $125,000 for it. because he didn't spend that much. I think he spent 80,000 for it or something like that. But he was looking for $125,000. He was a retired school teacher and 7 kids and a wife. Oh, he died. When he died, I don't know if the wife died, still alive or not, but the house was sold by the children, who were all grown up, have their own families, for 125, $250,000. That house went for. He bought it for 70. You know. So just from me, before he couldn't even get that 125 because of my trailers. They used to taunt me all the time because my trailer was a small 40-foot trailer, and it had these rounded domes on the top for air vents, and people would stop in their car and say, "Hey, those domes on the top of your trailer, is that how you communicate with outer space?" They tell me that, you know. Oh man, it just ripped me because I'm poor and I got a little trailer I'm living in, saving money up so I can build my house. Well, when I built my house, I finally did build a house. Moved the trailers out. Everybody's house went up to like from 50,000 up to 80,000, 90,000. This is back in the 80s. Well, now we're in 2025 here. The houses are worth a lot more because of inflation. So the house that wouldn't even go for $30,000 on the HUD because I had 2 trailers here went for 185 grand because I took the trailers off the street, moved them out, built a nice little raised ranch here, 6x6s, 4x4s. I had solid, man. I got a solid house, but neighbors are complaining because my grass is too high. I've had COVID for 570 days. Haven't been able to maintain my properties and they've all got butch haircuts. Everybody in the neighborhood has a butch haircut on their yard, and I'm letting mine grow. Oh, he's in violation. They call the ordinances on me and they summons me and they give me 30 days. If I don't get it corrected, they're going to fine me. Can you imagine what I got to go through? Jeepers. And I fought a war. I'm a decorated war veteran. I came home, fought for freedom, and I came home to this crap. A bunch of nobodies weren't even born when I was fighting for them in the war. They weren't even born yet. Jeepers. So anyways, I got to put up with all that. I get up every day thinking about it. And I got to get out there. I got to get things cleaned up. Then when I get out, I finally get around. It's 11 o'clock. I go out there. I can't take the heat. So I am back in the house, depressed. Now I got to wait till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock so I can go back out in the heat. If it's not too muggy, then I can go back out and start cleaning it up again. But I got a lot to do around here. I've been sick for a long time, man, and I'm still sick. I still have pneumonia. I'm afraid to go take a shower right now. I got to wash up real good. Wash all my pits, I guess. Armpits, everything, Make sure, you smell halfway decent to yourself. I don't hang around with nobody. I'm a hermit. I don't invite anybody here, and I don't want anybody here. Matter of fact, I got this little spiel I put on the internet. It's a scenario that could happen. Somebody comes in my gate, slips into my gate, and stands there, and I see him do it. And I got my little laser that I have in my hand, right? So I shine it right in front of their feet, and I say, "Halt." And I said, "See the laser on the ground in front of you? Shake your head if you do. Yes or no." And they go. So I move it. I start moving it up their leg, and the laser beam up their leg and right on their heart. I plant it. I plant it right on their heart. I said, "Now is that shake your head? Is that about where your heart is? And they go, then I say, then put your hands in your pocket. You didn't call. You're not welcome. Turn around and get off my property. You're in violation of my Fourth Amendment rights. Please leave. And don't come back on my property unless you've made a phone call to me. My thing is I got to post my number. I'm going to put it right. I'm not going to have it big when everybody goes by, because I'm going to have a for sale sign out there as soon as I get things going around here. Because I'm going to sell this property. Get out of here. I'm going to get a farm out country. Nobody can bother me. I'll get a dog, a vicious one too. If you come on my property, you're going to get bit. I'm sick and tired of people stealing from me. $7,000. A landscaper got me for it a couple years ago. And now the same situation is. The town wants me to clean up my property again. I spent $7,000, got took for $7,000 by some scam artist. Said he's going to put $3,400 worth of dirt in my driveway. He even put $340. I think he put $3,400 on there. He put an extra zero to see if I catch it. If I took it, he'd grab it. But if I made a mistake, that's not a zero. That's only $340 worth of dirt I'm going to put in there. Because that's what I called up Barney and Dick. Had them come in after he left. Didn't put hardly any dirt in my driveway. I had Barney and Dick come with $340. Covered my whole driveway. 6 inches deep. And this guy says he's going to put $3,400 worth of dirt in my driveway. Lied to me and took off with my money. Never came back to check anything, see how anything was or anything. He just ripped me off and took off. Brown, his name is. He's a landscaper. I don't know what his first name was, but his last name was Brown. I can't find him. I've called. There's 4 Browns landscaping. None of them know me. I said, are you the Brown that did my work here? No, I don't even live in that area. I live in Pennsylvania. I said, well, how come you got this number here? Well, that's my business number, blah, 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 blah. They go through all that stuff. I think I got the right guy. I think one of them was that guy. But all 4 of them didn't know me. That were in the landscaping business. They have trucks with their names on the side. Brown's Landscaping, whatever it was. I can't find that guy. He ripped me off for he earned some of the money because he dug a ditch for me. The backhoe, that's $450. I've had that done. What do you think, I was an amateur or something? I'm a contractor. I know how much a ditch is, 20-foot ditch cost. And then he got in and he didn't know what he was doing. I said, dig me a ditch for a footer. And back here, because I'm going to put a footer underneath this porch I just built. Take these 6x6s out. He says, okay. So he goes over and he digs this ditch. And I come out and I said, what's that, a drainage ditch? It's only 18 inches deep, if that. I said, what is that? He says, that's your ditch. I said, it's not. I said, you don't know what you're doing, do you? Because everybody who knows what they're doing knows that the frost line is down 2.5 feet. And you got to go down at least 3 feet for a footer. Oh, he said, okay. He starts digging and he runs into the roots of my trees. He can't dig the ditch. So he's having a hard time with it. And he starts digging. So he figured, well, it was the difficulty and all that. $450, I can get a guy come in and do the job. So he being inexperienced, he said, I went through all this, going through his roots and all that stuff, digging a ditch. That's enough. I'm out of here. And he takes off with my $7,000. and doesn't put $3,400. I'd like to see the tag that he paid $3,400 to Barney and Dick, because I had $340 brought in after he left. I had a truck come in and filled up half of the driveway with 12 inches or and less of dirt top. That dirt, that bank run that you put it in and it rains on it, and then it hardens, and it's like concrete. It's like having a concrete driveway, because a concrete driveway would have cost me $20,000. So I got the bank run in there, and I put this mesh beehive, like a beehive, but it's 3 inches high. They're 3 inches high, and they're like little beehives, little circles, like a beehive, and they have little smaller beehives and circles in it. And you fill the stone in there, and it holds the stone in place, so it don't go all over the place. Holds the stone. So I had those down, $124 a piece for them to fill them up. So, anyways, I got Barney and Dick come in and put it down, and now I got a big pile out there. I got sick, and I couldn't get to it. It hardened. Now I can't even hit it with a pick. I gotta hit it with a pick or get some type of a plow unit in here or something. Plow it down. Make a pathway to the back of my house. 160-foot driveway. Runs the perimeter of my property almost. So I know it's 160 feet. And it curves. It goes down. It comes in. My land goes like this, and then it goes down 4 feet. It's gradual. So I wanted that slope made gradual. Right, blend in with the back part of my property, which is down. The front part of my property, a guy had fill put in, and that's level with everybody else's property. But the back part of my property slopes down like this. That's where I put my foundation in, right on that slope. So I have my foundation already dug on one of them, on most of it, but I had to dig on the upper half. I had to dig the foundation out, so I had my house in there. I'm getting involved. You got more to do with your time than listen to me, I guess. Maybe some old man and some old lady in a nursing home will listen to me. I'll be there with them pretty shortly, I think. Oh, man, it's getting so difficult. And I call up, we have programs that you can do and all this other stuff. Yeah, you get them here and they steal you blind. I had Bill's Pools come here, up from I was up in Endicott. He sent 2 guys over, and I've got my pellet gun out, handgun pellet gun. I'm on my deck, and I got this can. I'm shooting at it, blah 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 blah. And then they showed up, so I quit shooting. And I put the gun on the table, and I went back in the house for about 15, 20 minutes. Came back out, and the gun was gone. And the 2 guys is fixing the pool that I called in from Bill's Pool. I says, "Hey, man, where did my gun go? It was right here." "Oh, we didn't take it. We don't steal." They all say that. Because everybody that steals from me says, "Are you calling me a thief?" "We don't steal. I don't steal. You calling me a thief?" First thing that comes out of their mouth. So I got a gun missing. A pellet gun, a real good one, too. I put it right through a watermelon. And it's powerful. It's like a 22 almost, but it's not. It's an air gun with one of those cylinders you put in it. Your first 6 shots, man, you can put one through a watermelon. Put your BB or your pellet through a watermelon with the first 6. Then after a while, the pressure gets lesser and lesser, and sometimes they just plop out and hit and bounce off the target and stuff. But it doesn't have that power from the first 6 shots, half a dozen shots, and then it starts petering out. So you got to get another. If you want power, if you're out after rats or some 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 varmint that's digging your yard up, you know. Well, anyways, I don't want to get off subject here. Um, I get stolen from, so I can't hire people to come in, man. I don't trust anybody. They see something, they grab it. Oh, I don't steal. You call me a thief? I had that happen to me at the Guitar Center in Johnson City. I put 3 piles of $50 bills out, two 50s in each pile, two $50 bills in each pile, $300. And I looked at him and said, how much more? And he goes, $68. This guy, he's going, $68, He's got tattoos all over his head. His fingernails are painted black and everything, man. Standing there. I says, okay, here's $70, $2 tip. I says, oh, I got to go get a tuner. I'll be right back. So I had my wallet on top of my money, and I had $300 out on the table, and I had given him $70, $2 tip to pay the whole bill. I was buying a Casario piano, and I had some trade-in to go along with it. So I said, I got to get a tuner, so I went and I got a tuner. It took me, I don't know, a couple minutes or something. Long enough for him to figure out how to rip me off, because when I come back, he's standing there, and he goes, you're $100 short. I says, what are you talking about? I just counted out to you I'm $100 short. What are you talking about? He says, those two 50s in the last pile you put down weren't 50s. They were 20s. Telling me I got something wrong in my eyesight or something, right? Or I'm stoned. He was figuring I was stoned, and I wasn't stoned. I look just like I am right now. I haven't taken anything. I mean, a cup of coffee in me right now. I'm just like this. But he thought I was stoned because I had long hair, and he was stoned. So when I turned and left the counter, all transactions are digitally recorded in Chicago. They don't know that. I don't even think the manager knew it. But I heard underneath the table that they have hidden cameras in there, and that all transactions are monitored, because there are $45 million in debt because of theft. You hire assistant manager? Oh, okay. Well, he's a guitar player. He don't have a job or anything. You hire him as assistant manager, but you know that I play that guitar nice. And he sells a lot of guitars, right? So you put him as assistant manager. And what happened? What happens? He's assistant manager when you're the manager and you leave to go out to dinner with your parents or something like that, and you leave the store in his charge. And what does he have? He's got guitars in the back in cases that he can't buy. They're $2,000 guitars. He's got them in the case waiting for his chance to stick it in his trunk. And that's how they steal them blind. $45 million in the red Guitar Center is. They sold out. They partnered up with somebody just recently. I guess the stats have changed, but when I did the stats on them, they told me they were 45 in the red and they're going out of business. They're looking for people to buy, but people can't buy a store because the insurances have to be in a package deal, because if you were to go in there individually and get all the things you need to run a business, you couldn't afford to stay in business, especially with the theft, because every musician that you get out there is poor, just about. And they're going to see all that. Oh, there's that guitar. Oh, if I got that guitar, I could be in a band. With a good amplifier and a guitar, I could get a job in a band. Yeah, I get a good job, too, because they're good guitar players. But they're broke. They're poor. So I'm looking for a guitar. I'm looking all over. And it says, I need a guitar, hollow body, electric and stuff. I like that look, and I like that. Oh, I don't see any. He goes, and he's sitting there. This is assistant manager now. He's standing there, and he's looking at me, and he thinks commission. He gets commission. Oh, he says, I know where there's one. And I says, what do you mean? He says, oh, I got this guitar. I'll be right back. So he goes out and back. He comes back up with this beautiful D'Angelica guitar, called the Angelica guitar. And it was beautiful. I said, yeah, I want that. That's mine. $2,000. They gave me $200 off of it. It was on sale, I guess. This guy said, "Oh, this is on sale. It's $2,000, but we took $200 off." I said, "Okay, I'll take it." And he looks at me, So that's how he got it. But if I hadn't been there looking for it, what's he waiting for? Why does he have it off the wall back there waiting? He says, "Well, I had this saved." That's the words he said to me. He says, "Oh, I had this in the back. I was saving it because I'm going to buy it. This is the one I like, this guitar. But we'll order another one, and you can have this one. I'll sell this one to you." I said, "Oh, okay." I did. So what was that guitar in the back for? He's getting minimum wage. He's assistant manager, but he gets minimum wage, right? How's he going to afford that guitar? He was, "I was going to buy this." So I put it in the back in a case and all that, hidden in the back. There's all these cases. Nobody knows what's in those cases. You don't go through what's in this case, what's in that case. They don't do it. You just got to know what case it is, because when the general manager leaves, go to dinner with his father and mother, or something, or go out to dinner or something, and he leaves you in charge as assistant manager, and you're the only one there. What do? You go back, there's no cameras. Only at the cash register, there's digital cameras. So he goes back there and he gets the guitar and sticks it in his trunk. And Guitar Center is out another $2,000 towards their $45 million in the hole. That's what's going on. Now, they had that guy, when I had that money out on the counter, I came back and he says, "You're $100 short." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He counted it out to you and everything. You're not $100 short. And I looked at him. He says, "Those weren't 250s. The last 250s you put down in that pile. There was 3 piles, 250s in each pile. Those weren't 250s, they're 220s. So you're $100 short." He was stoned out of his head. He had to have been, because he forgot to subtract the 220s he took out from my other pile and put in place of the 250s when he put the 250s in his pocket, which probably wasn't in his pocket. It's probably stashed someplace in case something happened. And I knocked him out, searched his pockets, couldn't find it. Yeah, I almost did that too, but I didn't. I call him a hoodwinking crook. And "You calling me names? You calling me a thief?" He goes, "You calling me?" Because he put the 250s in his pocket, but in his mind, he put the 220s there, but in his mind, he put 250s in his pocket, which is $100. So he told me I'm $100 short. He forgot to subtract the 220s that he took on my other pile away from the 250s that were there. I'd only be $60 short if there was 220s there instead of 250s. See what I mean? They're stupid. I worked with these type of kids, or hoodwinkers. I was undercover, really, in a way, juvenile delinquency control officer, through BOCES. I started as a monitor and worked my way up into teaching position. I analyzed all these kids. I wrote reports on them, everything, when they were in my school that I was working at, BOCES. So I knew what they do. They'll chop your leg off if you let them. And if they're mad at you enough, they'll chop your leg. Because that's what they did. Chopped the leg off of one of my co-workers, who was a monitor, and he took his smoking privileges away from the kids when they misbehaved and stuff, and all the kids hated him. So the gym teacher wanted to get the kids on his side. He says, "I want all you monitors, come on down and play hockey in the gym." They had a ball and hockey sticks and all that stuff. "Play hockey tonight in the gym with all the boys, show your support and all that. Come on down." So the nincompoop that was in the position, I call him a nincompoop because he went and played with them with hockey sticks. And here's what happened. They went after the ball, and all these kids got around and started hitting the ball, and one guy let it go loose right in back of his leg. Severed everything, muscles, tendons, veins, everything. Guy lost his leg. That's what we're dealing with, these type of people. So I knew what I was dealing with. So I just paid the $60. I said, put everything in my van. I got a bad back. So they put everything in my van except my $800 amplifier. I didn't notice. I trusted them again. I trusted. Other people were working, put everything in my van. Because I paid that $60. I only paid $60. Says it was $100 short. Says, no, I'm only $60 short. So I paid that. So he got me for $160. Plus the $220s he took out of the other pile. $200 he got me. Nothing I can do about it. It's my word against his. He's assistant manager. And but there is digitally that transaction was monitored by the company. And I called the company and told them about it. They must have checked out that transaction. They knew I was right, but they didn't acknowledge it. So they'll pay. Because what you sow is what you get back. So they're $45 million in the debt, red, because they're dishonest too. Dishonesty breeds dishonesty. You are who you hang out with. You hire corrupt individuals that rip people off. That's what's going to happen to your business. And that's what's happening to Guitar Center. I don't know. I haven't checked out lately because I was banned from there. Here's what happened. Here's the rest of the story. So I says, okay, I paid $60. I can put that in my. I said, he says, you calling me a thief? He's gone. I says, no, I'm calling what you are. I says, you're a hoodwinking crook. And I says, here's the $60. Put the piano and all that stuff in my van, my guitar amp I had there, because there was a problem with the microphone, and I wanted it to work with my guitar amp. So I had brought that in, and they were all oogling it because it's one of those sophisticated Fender amps with all the voice enhancements and everything all built into it. $800 it cost. They wanted that. The one guy wanted that real bad, so they didn't put it in the back of my truck. So I went home, I looked for it. I called him up and said, hey, man, you didn't put my amplifier in the back of my truck. This has just got to be sitting there. I said, wait a second, let me look. He looks around, he says, there's no amplifier here. We don't have any. I said, that's it, I'm calling the cops. So an hour went by, an hour and a half went by, 2 hours, something like that, and I get a phone call from Mike, the general manager. He's been out with his mother and father at dinner, and those two guys told him that I accused them of stealing, because I watched the other manager steal $100 from another guy in a different way. He had all this money piled up on the table, all counted out in $100 piles, $1,200. I watched them count it out. And the guy says, I don't have time to count all that. It's 5s and 10s and 20s. He says, I'll take it back to the counter and I'll bring it back to you, okay? And the guy goes, yeah, okay. He trusted him. So the guy picks it all up, goes back to the counter, comes back with a slip and says, you're $100 short. The $100 short scam. No way to prove it either, because you paid in cash, and it's your word against his. And that's what this other guy did to me, who he was training. So I think the real assistant manager was the one who was training another manager to be an assistant manager. He was breaking them in and showing them how they were splitting the money somehow or whatever. Because I watched him take this DJ, had a New York hat on, big New York symbol. White hat with black New York on it, I think. That's what he wore when he did DJing. And he got $400 for DJing a job, $100 an hour, I guess, 4 hours or whatever. And he got 3 jobs on a weekend. He did weddings and parties and, all kinds of stuff. And that's how he got paid. So he was in there with cash. I don't think he paid taxes. So he didn't give much of a. He was just spending it. He wasn't filing it on his card or anything like, where'd you get the money to do this? He was ever investigated. He was spending the money. They gave it to him without taxes, and he was spending it without, just spending it and not claiming anything. That's what I think happened. Then again, it could be if I could only get a hold of him. They wouldn't give me his number because they associated me and him together. They both $100 ripped off. One right after the other. Him first and then me, half an hour, 45 minutes later, an hour or so. The other assistant manager ripped me off for $100 because I was dealing in cash. And I have a beard, and it's my word against his. If the cops came, they'd be looking at the taxpayers, the ones who pay the taxes, that they go through their parking lot every night, make sure nobody's breaking in and stealing. Who are they going to be in favor of? Some long-bearded hippie? Or the establishment? So I get the cops. This is what happened. So I was okay. So I'm going to call the cops then. So I went, I got the cops. I brought them over. And just before that all happened, the general manager calls me back and he says, "We found your amplifier." Because I'm bringing the cops in now, right? "Well, we found your amplifier. You can come down and pick it up." And I said, "I ain't going in there. I'm not coming down there without a cop." I don't know. My tires were slit once. I almost got killed because of that. Kids at BOSI slit my tires. I think it was a staff member that did it because they took my cap off because I wouldn't join the union. I just joined BOSI's, but I wasn't a teacher yet. I was just a monitor. I got in a low position and worked my way up. I learned how the whole system worked. So, put it in a nutshell, I go over to the police station. I knock on the door, no answer. And then there's these procedures how to get an officer. And I said, forget it. I went back in the car. I was going to pull out. Cop car pulls up. He says, "Can I help you?" And I says, "Yeah." I says, "I had a situation." I told him the situation. He says, "Okay." I gave him my card too, which I don't have a beard or mustache or anything. I got a suit and a tie on and all that stuff. I gave him that card. I says, "Here's my card." He says, "I don't want your card." And then he looked at the card and he goes, "I'll take it." So he took the card. He says, "I'll be right back." And he goes in and he checks me out. And he comes back out. He says, "Okay, I'm going to drive you. We'll drive over there and get your amplifier and let me do the talking. In other words, I'm not going to go over there and start screaming and hollering at them because they stole from me and everything." I says, "Okay." So we went over there, and the first thing he does, he comes and he says, "Where's your cameras?" And the guy goes, "We don't have cameras." This is Mike now, the general man. "We don't have cameras. We don't have..." But he doesn't, maybe he doesn't even know that they have digital cameras monitoring all transactions on that cash register. Maybe he don't know that. Because I got my information from another very respectable businessman that knew how that, because he was competition. He was a competition with Guitar Center. He says, "Bill," he says, "they monitor all transactions in Chicago with digital recordings stuff." I still don't know how they do that. Digital monitoring, I don't know. And he says they'll have that. They know everything that happened. If that guy stole from you, they'll have it on film. And I called him up and asked him. I says, "I got stolen from your Johnson City office there. $100. Here's how they did it." And everything. I never heard a word back from him. Nobody even contacted me or anything. So they ain't going to take and turn their own people in, I guess. Look bad in the news. A decorated war veteran gets beat up by a Guitar Center. Some guy out there in outer space, really, because he forgot to subtract the 220s from the 250s. That would only be $60 short. And in his mind, he put 250s in his pocket, so he's thinking $100 short because he's stoned. Black fingernails and tattoos and even on his nose. I was looking to see if he had a tattoo of a booger or something. Make people laugh. So what's that little green thing you got tattooed on the side of your nose? And you say, that's a booger. Yeah, how do you like that? I tattooed a booger on my nose. Yeah. I'm trying to make fun of it right now because it happened and I forgave it. If you forgive, you forget. But kind of a way, whenever I come up about somebody stealing, they're one of the main reasons why I believe that there's no honest people in this world anymore. I haven't met any. I've looked all over for an honest person. They're all a bunch of crooks. They all got their hands out when they grab your money. Go back to the town here making me want to clean my land up now again. I'm going to have to go out and pay another $7,000 and get another crook in here. Because that's what happened a couple years ago. Somebody complained about my grass was too high, and they wanted me to clear my whole lot off. So I put a 8-foot fence up so they can't see my whole lot. After that happened, I got took. At least half the money I paid, $7,000. I would give it. He did around $3,000 worth of work probably. He cleared my property off, and put some dirt in the driveway and dug a ditch out in the back. That's all he did. And he screwed up. He should have, because I told him I want underneath my porch I want 7-foot ceilings. So you got to dig the bottom out first. He didn't do that. He screwed up. He dug the ditch, and he couldn't get back in far enough to dig my cellar out. So he scraped it as best he could, and that was it. And he left with my money. And I haven't seen him since. I don't know how to. I tried to trace him down, track him down and stuff. There's 4 guys with his last name that are in the landscaping business, and none of them know me. So, and I can't find the proposal he gave me. It didn't have much information on it. It was just a store-bought proposal. Didn't have his address on or anything like that. Just his name, his signature. Here's my proposal. And he accepted it or not. And I looked at it and I said, well, he's going to put all the new dirt in my driveway and smooth it all out, and dig me a ditch, and dig out the back underneath my stairs, and take and haul away everything. And I said, okay, well, I'll sign it, I'll pay him the $7,000 for something like that. He didn't do half of it. He said I was going to put $3,400 worth of dirt in, and I think he put an extra 0 in it to see if I would accept it. And he said, and if I didn't accept it, he'd look it over and he'd go, oh, I put 2 zeros in there? Oh, and cross one out. Oh, it's only $340 worth of dirt I'm going to put in there, not $3,400. He has a game. They all have games. And you think you're stupid, you don't see it. Man. Another flunky. I call them flunkies because they can't make it in society because they got to steal from you. They can't keep their hands off it. They see an opportunity, they'll grab it. It's like them guys with my gun when I Mr. Bill's pool. I had him come down and do my pool, and I was out there shooting with my pistol, and I went back in the house, came back out, and the pistol was gone. And the only guys on my property all day long was those 2 guys fixing my pool. And I said, hey, what happened to the gun up here? Oh, we don't steal. We don't know. We didn't take it. We don't steal. Right out of their mouth. Same thing happened to me at Guitar Center. We don't steal. You calling me a thief? Screaming it out, everybody's looking. There's no way you can prove it. You paid in cash, you dumb shit. And I won't do that again. Trust people. Trust no one. Make many your acquaintances and trust no one. Or a few. Or trust a few, maybe. Maybe you can trust some people because you know where their heads are at. that if they stole, they wouldn't be able to sleep like me. If I steal, which I have in the past, when I was younger, I stole something. I had to go through my whole house and look for things that I got. I'm not stolen, but I bought that was stolen. Like there was this one guy who used to do floors for this guy, big outfit, and he had to buy tools. And when he bought the tools, the end of the job, the guy made so much money off of him because he laid all this big floors and these great big buildings and all that stuff. Charged all kinds of money, and he had all the tools that were left over he didn't care about because he made all the money off this one guy who was laying the tile, right? So this one guy at the end of the job, he's got all them tools. He sells them. And I bought a couple of them. So I had to go through and find them, throw them in the river. I don't want none of that stuff around. I don't want anything around that's been stolen. Bad vibes, I believe. So I got to go through this every day. I get up. I got so much to do, and I can't hire anybody because they're a bunch of thieves. Now, I was thinking about getting something like a brotherhood or a sisters or something like that, because I'm going to donate this place to charity. And I'm going to take that money and put water wells in Kenya. I'm going to turn the desert into a garden like Eden again. There's a big reservoir of water underneath Kenya that needs to be tapped because all them poor people are drinking out of the river, that mud, milky looking river with the turds floating on the top of it. Little kid has to go in out in the middle as the drought is in and the river's down, so he's 11 years old and the river's up to his waist, so he goes out there, moves the turds out of the way, all the fecal matter, and dumps his 5-gallon bucket in and goes and brings it back to mommy a mile away or something like that. He's got to carry the bucket back. So what happens? Crocs are watching him. They see his habits. Oh, he goes there every day to get water. I'll be there tomorrow and have breakfast. So they go over and they lay there and they wait for him to come. And sure enough, here comes, and they got him. 100 cases a year. Children are being eaten by crocs down here because they have to get water from the river, that milk mud river, that they get dysentery and diarrhea and die from stomach diseases and everything. And they go down there and it's like dunking in for a glass of milk. But it's mud milk. And they drink it. So I want to put water wells in. So Jim Donaldson, who's Mr. Guru on YouTube, man, I mean, this guy knows how everything works. He's not a guru. I named him Mr. Guru because Mr. Beast, he's got it in hand, man. He's a billionaire now. He's worth $1 billion from YouTube. I remember when I knew him, he was only worth 285, only 285 million. And I was crying about, like I just told you, about all these poor children being eaten by crocodiles down in Kenya. He went down and put 100 water wells in, put 52 in Kenya, and then 48 more throughout Africa. You know, he spent some time down there. He gave all the kids soccer balls and bikes to ride back and forth, put a bridge in so they can get from their village to the hospital and the schools and all that. It washed out every monsoon because they had to build it with sticks. So he went in there and put a nice concrete bridge in there, you know. And it's not going to wash out during monsoon anymore. They're not going to be stranded either at the school or home in their mud huts. They all live in mud huts. Poorest people in the world, man. I think one lady was renting her other mud hut. Her husband built 2 mud huts and he died. And she inherited it too, so she rents one out. And I said, what was the rent? And a loaf of bread a week. You know, cheapers, man. Simple. And we just spent $71 billion going to Mars. And all these poor people are on the riverbanks being eaten by crocodiles and drinking that crap water. And I'm all up in arms about it. I'm trying to do something. I've been on the internet here for 4.5 years making videos, and every video I make, I tell about what's happening down in Kenya with those poor children being eaten by crocodiles because they're trying to get a drink of water, mud water. And if some of them drink it, they die anyways. So that's where I'm at. I've talked too long, maybe. But I got to face another day. The day is I'm going to get up and get a cup of coffee in me because that's what I've been told to do in my spiritual sense. Bill, get a cup of coffee. Wake up. I'm pretty awake right now. It's light out. It's 9-ish, 9:30-ish. Hey, Google, what time is it? I don't know if he can answer. Probably not. And not while I'm recording. He can't tell me. Now, I got another phone I could have set it to, but I turned it off. That would have answered me. But you got to learn how to use your system. I'm learning little by little. One thing is I got to do right now is my wife just had a serious operation. She almost died. And I looked at her the third day in the hospital she was there, and she looked like she was dead. When I went in and I looked at her, she was sleeping. She looked like she was dead, white. Oh, God, opaque white looking. Laying there, I'm going, oh, God, I don't want to ever see her like that. Good God. And she came to and she saw me and she woke up, talked to me. Now she's up walking around. She's feeling better. But things still aren't the way she wants them. And they're not the way I want them. And we're both sick. So now we're at each other's throats. We're having a cat fight. A lot of screaming and hollering and barking and all that stuff. There's no clawing going on. I don't claw. So, anyways, she's got her two kitty cats. They're 4 years old now, 3, 4 years old. Bobtail cats, man, they're ferocious. Nobody mess. No cats in the neighborhood come around our house because they'll both grab them, beat the crap out of them. I got some little tigers here. My mother's maiden name was Montleone, the mountain lion. And I got 2 little mountain lions in my yard. 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Yeah, well, it's harder now. The town gets on you, starts dictating to you. They're citing me for a pergola I had up 30 years ago. It's just been standing there, you know. So somebody comes in, a new person gets on the board, and he comes in, and he's doing an investigation on my property because the neighbor's complaining. So he comes in and sticks his head in the fence and looks, and he sees that structure going up. He thinks it's going up. It's been there 30 years. It's a pergola. It's 4x4s, 6x6s. 6x6 is what they are on each corner. And then I got all braced, tied together. There's no walls. There's no screening. There's no doors. It's just a pergola. And I built a bunch of shelves. I'm going to put plants all in that place. It's going to be a pergola plant sanctuary, just about. You go in and sit in the middle of it in a chair or something like that because it's got a concrete floor on it. I poured that 6 inches just so, it wasn't dirt and everything. But that's the only thing that's permanent, really, is the concrete floor. Everything else I can just cut and build someplace else with it. But I got a shade over it. I got a roof over it. That's made out of that what do they call that? Titanium metal roof I got on it. And one half is working, the other half isn't done yet. I'm sick, I can't do it. I can't get up on roofs and stuff. Got to do everything myself because I get robbed when I get somebody else in here. I don't know. Because there's programs you can get qualified for, but who are they? They show up at your house, like the pool guys, and rip you off your gun, my pellet gun I had. They stole that. And I called up Bills, told him about it. And I says, if they're still working for you, I don't want them up here to open up my pool this year. And he never called me back to saying he's going to send guys up to open my pool up again. I said, don't send them two guys you sent before because they ripped me off. They stole my pellet gun. And he never called me back to find out. I was wondering, I says, you got to go around, have some of your employees go in there and say, hey, does anybody know how to shoot a pellet gun? I got a nice pellet gun. And then whoever maybe got that pellet gun, I say, oh, yeah, I got one too. I'll bring mine. We'll shoot it together. My pellet gun. See if they can get it. Find out who got my pellet gun. Which one of the guys it was. Because they both stuck together. That pellet gun, I don't know, it's worth, $50, $60, and a shot of pellet with the CO2s. And man, it put it right through a watermelon. So, I don't know. I put it between your eyes, you gonna live? I wouldn't do that though. I do have a laser on it though. And I got this little spiel I do. I haven't done it yet, but this is what I'm gonna do. When anybody comes through that gate without calling first, I'm gonna say, halt. Don't come any further. Do you see at the base of your feet a laser beam on the sidewalk? Shake your head, yes or no. And he goes. And I said, okay, follow the beam. And I run it up his leg nice and slow, and I rest it on his heart. I says, is that about where your heart is? Yes or no? And he goes. I says, then do this. Put your two hands in your pocket and turn around and get off my property, because you're not invited. This is a hermitage. It's private property. My Fourth Amendment rights is for privacy. And the only way you can get me to talk is to call me. My phone number's in the phone book under Bill Nixon, 5 Pierce Street. So, and I said, so put your hands in your pocket, turn around and get off my property. You're not invited here unless you call first. And you didn't call. So, say la vie, get out of here. This is a hermitage. It's not open to the public. And that's why there's an 8-foot fence up. And now they're trying to get me. Because I asked the guys, before I built the fence, how high can a fence be? As high as you want it. There's no limitations on how you fence this. So now they went in and they passed a new law that the fence has got to be 6 feet high or less around your property. Can't be over 6 feet. Because I got an 8-foot fence out there. I'm grandfathered in because he already said it's okay when I build it. So that's grandfathered in. If there's any new laws that the fences only have to be 6 foot high, that's too bad. I'm grandfathered in. Just as well as my pergola that's out there too, that they're saying I don't have a building permit for, because when they looked in, all they saw was framing, a framed building there with a roof on it with no permit. Well, that building's been there for 30 years when I bought the property. Right after I bought it, I built it to join the two properties together. And I put a pool on the other side of it to join the two properties together. So I filed for a variance to get them joined, and now I got 2 lots as 1 lot, 100-foot frontage, 150 feet to the back, 100 feet across, And I have in the front 8-foot high fence, and in the back, I am building one. And in the back of your house, it can be higher than in the front of your house. I think I'm going to make that one. I don't know. I don't want to see the guy's house. I don't want to see anybody's rooftops or anything. So I'm going to build a fence because I'm a raised ranch. So if I build my fence 8 foot, then I can't see anybody else's property, especially the swimming pools that are on both sides of my house. And then I got that to contend with this summer. If I don't put a 16-foot fence up there, I got to watch Miss Screamer, the Screamer. She moved in and they make love and she screams, you know. And I told him about it. I says, man, I'm celibate 25 years. You guys move in and I got to listen to you doing your thing, screaming and hollering. You can't even make babies. Neither one of you can make a baby. You already said that. So what is it all about? So now I got to hear you screaming, making love, and then I got to watch you in your pool, floating around. Bull crap. I'm putting a 16-foot fence up, and if they don't like it, too bad. Arrest me, because I'm going to bring it to the public. Let the public hear after they have to tie me down with handcuffs because I fought for freedom and I didn't get it. Decorated war veteran, too. Fought for freedom in the United States to have what I want. Freedom. Fourth Amendment rights, right to privacy and freedom. And I'm getting them both taken from me by the town of Shenango. They ripped me off royally when I first moved in here. They owe me $300,000 because the property up in back of me I could have bought. The guy wanted to sell it to me because I was a veteran and everything for $30,000, 50 acres. It was full of oak, over $300,000 worth of oak. And I went up there, can I cut any of the trees? No, you can't. It's in the city limits. I went to the town before I wanted to buy it to find out what I could do with it, you know. No, you can't cut anything up there that's city limits. No cutting trees in city limits. So he discouraged me. I'm not going to pay for taxes on lands I can't even use. Why should I pay all the taxes on that land? I can get it. Well, it's mine. Maybe I can get firewood off of it or something. Down trees already. Cut them up. But I can't cut trees. So I said, I ain't going to do it. So I told him, forget it. I'm sorry. I was stupid, young and stupid. I should have took it. Should have took that deal. Darn it. But so some guy from Delhi or out towards that area, a millionaire, he goes around and rapes the woods, all these properties, and he found this property. And he scoped it out and he saw them oak trees, rolls and rolls of oak trees that you couldn't even put your hand around. You couldn't put your hands around the trees. The trunks were so big. He goes to the town meeting. Says, I bought that property and I'm going to cut the timber off of it and nobody's going to do anything about it because it's my property. You can't tell me what to do with my property. I'm going to harvest the timber off of it. And you can't build streets up there because it's an aquifer and there's 1.5 feet down. There's streams and springs. So you shit-canned the deal that you had all plans. I got plans of how that's supposed to look up there. And so they couldn't put roads in and stuff. So it's in the city limits. But they told me that you can't cut because it's in the city limits. Well, why can't I cut? Jeepers. So this guy goes to the town meeting and he says, I bought that property. I'm going to cut trees off it and nobody's going to do anything about it. And he goes up there and all you hear after that was saws going. Trucks. He made his own roads. He put in his own. He flooded the whole area out down where he made his road. the road flooded out because he didn't do it properly. But he got his logs, his trees, his oak off the top of that hill around 300 grand. I think Maine's bought it after he raped it. They were going to prosecute him, and he gave them the land, and they let him go with 300 grand because he gave the town the land. Now, I don't know how Maine's bought it. I heard it was Maine's that bought it, built a house up there, bought the 50 acres. I think he's got the money. Go through that property with a forester and mark down all the trees that were cut illegally and go after the guy because he stole from his value of his property that's his now. And he violated the law. Get your money back, Maines. There's a chunk of change out there you can get from that crook that came and chopped everything down. And then when I made a big stink about it, I had to go around to all the neighbors in the rain with an umbrella, my wife and I, get signatures to have them stop. Because he was coming down the hill, cutting everything big enough to make a baseball bat out of. In other words, if the tree was big enough to make a baseball bat, he cut it down. So I heard the chainsaws going and they're coming down towards us. That's it. Got the cops. They had to draw their guns to get him off. He wouldn't leave. And then when the town says, okay, we're going to prosecute him for cutting trees, he gives them the property. He says, here, you can have the property. I'll give it to you. And the town doesn't pursue it. They just take the property. And I don't know how Maine's got it. They must have put it on the market. And then Maine's bought it. I heard it was Maine's. Now, if it was Maine's, he's got money. I get a lawyer, find out that guy raped his land that he bought. He raped it. I'd go after him, get what he's got. He's got the money. Maine's has got the money and the lawyer power to do it. He should do it. I don't know if there's a statute of limitations. How's there a statute of limitations on grand theft? Because it's over $1,000. Matter of fact, it was $300,000. I'm guessing. I just approximate because I'm a broker. You know, I go through land. I can assess things. I do broker's price opinions for banks on houses all the time. So I made most of my money doing broker price opinions. I didn't get enough as someone else who was in the business, appraisal business. I get like 1/4 of what they made. I get $100 for my opinions, and they get, well, I don't know what it is now, $800 to get a broker's appraisal. Not a broker's appraisal, but a appraiser's appraisal. A broker's price opinion and appraisal. The banks will take a broker's price opinion because it's a lot cheaper. And I'm usually better than... here's a good example. My sister Terry had work done in her house. And she had it evaluated. And I don't know, it was way up there, like $900,000 her property was worth, you know? And I made an estimate on it. I said $960,000. And she had a appraiser come in and do it, and they took weeks. And they appraised it, it came back at $942,000. But they didn't appraise the new bathroom that she was having put in. I did. So her new bathroom was $20,000. I was right on. $960,000. And she paid, I don't know how much for an appraiser to come in and appraise everything. And he was below my estimate. 20 grand, 18 grand, something like that. But when it came out that she did her bathroom, she put 20 into it, I was right on. $960,000 her house is worth. I don't know how many square foot she had exact because I remember, but that's how. And I did it in 5 minutes. This guy took weeks to do it. The appraisers did. And I was right on, and they were wrong. They were off $18,000. I pointed it out to my sister, Oh, well, it doesn't really ring, Could have went with my estimate, but she had to have it for some reason, taxes or something like that. I don't know why she had to have her house appraised. She paid big money to get it done. And they took a while to do it, too. I did it in 5 minutes. I says, Terry, your house worth about $960,000. So you're only off. The appraisal came back at $942. You weren't that far off. I says, did they include your bathroom that you just had remodeled? And she goes, no. And I says, well, I did. And I'm right on, aren't I? 960. I might be $2,000 off, somewhere around there. But that's pretty close for free. She asked my opinion. I am a broker. I am a licensed New York State broker. I do price opinions for banks all over the United States. Some of them pay 85, some of them pay 125. Some of them ask you how much you got. Can you make it a priority? We'll give you 150. I got to go out, take pictures, and come back, do my research, have 3 comparables, and give my opinion of how much the house is worth. And I was usually right on. I had a lot of banks calling me back, that's for sure. Because if they don't see that you know what you're doing, they won't call you back. They got to test. And I was building that business up. I bet you I had $50,000 worth of leads. If I would have sold it, I didn't sell it. I just let it go. Forget it. I got ripped off anyway, so I ran into a bunch of hoodwinkers. I got out of real estate. Got out of it. Because if I would have took it over like I was going to do in this area, you list with me and home repairs are free. Minor home repairs. I'm not going to do a repair on a roof or something, unless it's a couple shingles or something. But repairs are free if you list with me. My phone's ringing off the hook. I'm giving places away to other brokers because I can't handle it. It's too much work. So I said, okay, I'll give you the lead. You give me $500 for the lead, and you get the $3,000 commission on the 2-family. I did this. This is one example. So the guy says, oh, okay. 2 weeks later, he sells it. $3,500 commission he got on it, or more. I don't know what the whole thing was. He got both sides. If he got both sides of the deal, he got more than that. Sometimes you can get both sides of the deal. But anyways, I said, I have $500. I had to pull teeth to get my $500 from him. So I said, screw that. And I got out of real estate. I had too many crooks, too many greedy crooks. I had one broker that I joined, and he said, okay, I brought a $247,000 deal in or something, where the commissions on it were, his cut would have been $900. So I brought it in when he took me in as an associate broker, and I paid him the $900 up front from that deal. Right? He didn't do nothing for it. I came in with $900. So after I gave him the $900, he says, well, you got to join now, which costs $600. I says, well, take it out of the $900 I just gave you. Oh, no, that's ours. You joined as an associate broker, and that's our cut of the deal. It's, what was it? I don't know. You're not supposed to talk about it, but I'm not a broker anymore anyways. I'm retired. I'm out of it. And I says, yeah, I'm out of here. I said, you're not going to take out the money, the initial money that I need to join, and I just gave you $900, and you can't take it out of that. Bye-bye. I'm gone. And that's how his greed His greed got in the way. Then I caught somebody taking my houses off the market. They were on the market for me to look at, but if anybody else wanted to look, they weren't listed. But for me, they were. How did they pull that off? I made a phone call, and it was fixed immediately. So somebody knew exactly what to do and how to do it, didn't they? I said, this game's getting too crooked for me. I'm out of here. I'm going to take it over. Everybody's getting upset, starting to get the leads. As soon as a word goes out, if you list with Nixon, he does your repairs for free. And that's what I do. I show up with a suit on and an apron, carpenter's apron, with my nail guns. And I go through and I fix everything I can in one day. There you go. I got to have a deal, though. If I do this and you end your listing, you got to pay me for what I did. That's the agreement. List for me for free. I'll do the repairs. But if you have me do the repairs and then go list with somebody else, I want my money. And that will be the agreement. I'm not going to get took again. Constant people taking you. Every time you turn around, somebody's trying to rip you off for something. That's what I'm going through. Boy, am I normal? Is this what's happening to everybody? Man. So anyways, I talked too long again. No song. You'll have to go through my videos. I got 400 on there. I got all kinds of songs in there. And they're going to become viral here shortly because I've got a system now to where my advertisements are going to go out, and I'm going to get a lot of responses, and I'm going to get a lot of people wanting to advertise on my channel. So I'm finally getting it. I'm finally seeing how to do it. So I'm going to bloom in my old age. If I would have bloomed in my younger age, who knows? I probably wouldn't be married right now. I probably had 3 or 4 wives, all that stuff. But I bloom with my music, harmonica and guitar, and I'm pretty good. 50 years. I'm pretty good. I'm not the best. I don't know about harmonica. Oh, man, I'm getting good on that one. But there's still lots of guys out there, lots of women out there that play really good. So, but I do my own thing better than they can do me. I do my own thing better than they can do. So it's a matter of opinion and style of music and how the boat floats, I guess. Are you up the creek without paddles? You can't get up the creek without paddles. So that's me. That's what I'm just going to take and shadow myself out of here. I am the shadow of the Rosary Hermitage in Snagglebridge, New York. I've been here for quite a while. If you want to buy my property, just give me $3 million. Donate it to me, because it's going to go for water wells down in Kenya. Then I'm going to die after I put them in. I'm going to turn the desert into a garden like Eden. And I've already done it. Jim Donaldson helped me out. He went down and put 100 in. I don't know how he heard about it. He must have seen some of my films. He's a guru on YouTube. He knows everything about YouTube, so he must have seen one of my 400 videos that I put on there, because I had some of them with his name on it, Mr. Beast. I devoted some songs to him. So he's got to know something about me. He went down and he put all them water wells in. And then he got ribbed. The people down there says, the white man's coming in, trying to take over. He put water wells in, and he gave all the kids bicycles and soccer balls, and put a bridge in, and he put water towers in, and he put boreholes down in the ground. He's got solar going. He's turned the desert into a garden like Eden. That's what he did in his little areas. Well, I'm going to go down there and finish the job if I can get the money. I don't know how many millions he spent, but he's always on TV, you know. Win $800,000 if you can go mogul through my jungle, grab the right vine and hit the timer in time, and you get 800 grand. Everybody's watching that. He's got revenue coming in from that now. He went in the movie business. He's a smart kid. He's only 27 years old, man. This kid is being blessed somehow. He's getting in there. I think he's got an in with AI. I think he's in with, I'm not going to tell the secret. I know there's a secret out there how to get quantum physics involved with your AI. And you do that, you become a millionaire quick. And that's what I'm going to try to do. Nobody's going to see this film. Nobody watches my videos right now. But one day, there'll be a treasure, and they'll see what I just said. They'll hear what I just said. And they'll say, yeah, he did turn out to be a millionaire. Just like the guy that prophesied it over me at the Holy Spirit Retreat House in Connecticut. He says, you're going to be a scholar. I said, a what? I'm a 9th grade dropout. I'm going to be a scholar. I ended up 2 4-year degrees and 1 2-year degree. And I'm on the Social Science Honor Societies. I'm in that. If I don't tell you, who's going to tell you? So I'm not bragging or anything. I'm going to be dead. I don't care. These films are going to be here. And I'm just going to tell you, people that do get a chance to see some of my videos, about Jesus in your life. It's not a life without strife, though. It's a life better than what you had before you got Jesus in your life. I did the Surrender Novena. It's on YouTube. And my whole life changed after that. I recommended it to everybody. So in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I bless everyone who listens to this. And I say in that contrition, oh my God, I'm heartily sorry for having offended you, and I attest all my sin because of thy just punishment, but most of all because I've offended you, my God, all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve with the help of thy grace to confess my sins and do penance for near occasion of sin. Man, avoid the near occasion of sin. Don't even think about it. If you think about it, you sin in your heart. You might as well done it in the flesh, is what Jesus says. So avoid the near occasion of sin, and sin no more. Eat my body, drink my blood, profess my name, live a holy life, confess your sins, and you'll live forever. That's God's promise. And if you don't believe God's promise, you'll be in darkness forever. Because the light has left you. Your orbit is no longer around the sun. The Son of God. What's your orbit? Think about it. What is your orbit? Does it evolve around the Son of God? Or are you serving Mammon? Oh. There's other things I want to say, but you can talk too much. And I'd rather talk you to life rather than to death. So, c'est la vie, everybody. And I'll end it with, come, Holy Spirit, and kindle in us the fire of your love. Send forth your Spirit, shall be created, and you shall renew the face of the earth. O God, who did instruct the hearts of the faithful by the light of the Holy Spirit, grant us in that same Spirit be truly wise and rejoice in this consolation through Jesus Christ, Yeshua. Hallelujah. Amen.